Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and welcome to Knights of the Geek Table. I'm here with John and Hubbard. We're going to be talking about basically how some games, even no matter how old they get, they still stand the test of time, while even some new games just fall flat and are easily forgotten. Um, One that I can just easily call out is Black Ops 2 with the zombies and all that.
I'm curious why the second one, not the first.
Out of my curious is why not like the good old World War II Call of Duty games?
Well, uh, my personal opinion, I 2 stands out a lot more. Zombie mode was just fucking insane. With giant fucking robots and all, and then I remember the maps a lot in Black Ops 2 versus Black Ops 1.
Mhm.
It's just something about just layout and everything for Black Ops 2 just sticks, while Black Ops 1, like, it's there, but it doesn't.
Well, I guess I don't know. That might be personal preference because I
Yeah.
have so the last Call of Duty game I bought, the last one that I bought was the first Black Ops.
Mhm.
After that, I pretty much just stopped playing COD. I actually played Black Ops 2 specifically for the zombies because I borrowed it to play with some friends.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really didn't play it much. The most memories that I have of a Black Ops was the first one, playing zombies all the time when we were in that was I guess early high school, I guess. Um,
Oh god. We were playing Black Ops 2. We played Black Ops 1 in the middle of high school and Black Ops 2 at our late high school. Just to,
well,
I know there's an age difference, but it doesn't ring.
you're only older than me, like what, a year,
Uh,
two, maybe
I think
2 years
2 years. Okay,
I'm
because they
22.
switched between Treyarch and Infinity Ward. This
Mhm.
is during that time.
but yeah, I just have the most vivid memories of that. But after that, I just stopped playing Call of Duty because I just thought it was bad.
Yeah, Black
And
Ops 2 is my last one.
By the way, I initially had concerns with the new Call of Duty, and after seeing more of it, no, it's not good in my opinion.
World War 2.
Yeah, I think it looks like just crap.
I haven't decided yet.
No, trust me, it's just politician correctness is everywhere. That's the thing.
But even little stuff like they're still using the same engine from 5 years ago.
Mhm.
They're still the guns sound awful. Like, just like literally, you can tell they're like they made it in a computer.
Mhm.
And they can't even get like regular shit right. Like stuff that so the Springfield, the 1903 Springfield, the bolt action rifle,
Uh-huh.
that Americans used in World War One.
Yeah.
It's in the game because it was used in World War Two. But it's the little shit like, so when you have a scope attached to it,
Uh-huh.
you can still put a stripper clip full of bullets into it, which doesn't make any sense
No, because
there's
you
a
have the
scope.
scope.
You can't put it looks like they're coming in like an angle, and it doesn't make sense. In addition to the fact that you can actually, like, if you say you load, I forgot what's the strip capacity on a Springfield. I think it's like, off the top of my head, I'll say 6. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you say you load 6
Uh-huh.
and then fire 3, and then your character will load another strip of 6.
You have 3 bullets in the gun.
I know there's no root, but it'll go in anyway. It's just little shit like that, and you're like, really? And that's an addition to all the stuff that Hubbard just mentioned with the political correctness and stuff. But,
Yeah, I haven't made up my mind yet. Black Ops 2 was the last Call of Duty game I bought. And because I'm just like, it's fucking Call of Duty. Like, if I want a shooting game, I'm getting Battlefield. And
well, the thing is, like, I'm considering. I'm not right now because they just released, because they did it rather quietly. They released COD 4 remastered separately now, so you can actually just go out and buy it and not Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
That's what I want to do soon. Is get the remastered.
I may get that, not now. I'll probably wait for the price to drop.
yeah.
Yeah, that's same here. I was like, I have like the PS3, but I was like, I'm probably waiting until it's cheap. This might not.
So I do plan on getting that, but I mean, it's just I don't know, and it's from a different time. I mean, we're talking games that last. I can just think of a whole bunch of games from early like 2008 and 10 especially are just at least for me is when I got a lot of like games that I start. So I mean, Halo 3, Dead Space. I mean, hell, even Call of Duty, the COD 4, and Modern Warfare 2. It just and a couple of games. I have my entire 360 collection over here, so that's what I'm looking at. Fallout, Gears of War. I mean, it was almost like looking back on it. Maybe it's because I'm just too old now, but it was almost like this renaissance. And it was just because game developers, they just looked at things and did things differently now, or then, than they do now. Now it seems they're more interested in getting into your wallet.
Yeah.
At all costs, rather than making.
I think that's a lot of games in general now.
Oh, that's pretty much every game in general now.
It's a shame, and it was. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it was funny because I remember when The Witcher 3 came out, CD Projekt Red basically was like there weren't any. Okay, so for example, there wasn't any pre-order bonuses that you could get for The Witcher 3, or rather, I think it was. You could get like a special edition, but all it came with was it came out with a little necklace and some knickknacks, like nothing that affected the game.
Yeah.
And that was really all you could get. And then what they did was they would actually give you Witcher 3 did was they'd give you free DLC a few weeks in a row before the first actual paid DLC came out to keep you engaged. And it was refreshing to see a game developer basically act like how they did back in 2008, where they didn't try to there wasn't any microtransactions, they didn't nickel and dime you, and then they released, okay, we worked on this expansion pack that's a full expansion. You want to buy it? Go ahead. It's just, and game developers just don't think like that anymore, and it was kind of weird to be like, oh wow, that's refreshing, but it's like, but that's how it should be, in my opinion.
One game definitely. I know you don't have it because you're mainly an Xbox person, but The Last of Us. That game just, I mean, the fact that they remastered it and it sold just about as many as before, I feel like a lot of big story-driven games that had an impact are ones that last.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's weird that the game industry has a tendency to convince themselves of something out of nowhere. For example, at least modern times, a lot of big game developers have convinced themselves that nobody wants survival horror games, even though survival horror on Steam, for example, is thriving. Yeah. But for whatever reason, game developers are like, oh no, nobody wants that. And it's what world do you live in? It's the same thing with there's a lot of the mainstream gaming industry right now is releasing a lot of multiplayer games. You can play with your friends. Whatchamacallit, the two most recent Ghost Recon, The Division, and Wildlands, for example.
They focus online a lot.
Exactly, focus online, but then you see things like, even though I have my own issues with Fallout 4, for example, but Fallout 4, The Witcher 3, The Last of Us, these are games that, have stories, they're single player, and they sell really, really well because people like that stuff. But for whatever reason, the gaming industry as a whole just ignores it or whatever, and they think we have to do it this way. And I don't get it.
I mean, I love playing games with my friends. I mean, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, there's a place for it, but
there's also times I just want to sit back and play a game myself. I mean, that's probably why Tomb Raider has stuck with me so well, is because I can just sit down, play it, and it's all a combination of all these different genres of games, but it's a single player game I play through. Even though Tomb Raider has a multiplayer functionality, I never use it.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the big reasons that they're continuing to do multiplayer, regardless of what sales of other games, single player games are, is because of the nickel and dime factor. Because I mean, they've just, I guess they're milking the competitive scene. I think because a lot of people are definitely into picking up games and playing them online, playing them with their friends, like they're marketing to. And then they're just, a lot of them are either free to play or really cheap to get into initially, and then they nickel and dime you with the microtransactions just so you can stay in.
Every fucking game has a loot box now.
Every single one of them.
Every fucking game, and it drives me insane. Like, Rise of the Tomb Raider technically had loot boxes. It was card packs that you could unlock to get different unlocks. But because I waited and got the 20th anniversary, I got most of them. And then, but the thing is, with Tomb Raider though, with Rise of the Tomb Raider, I mean, as you play the game, like the story and all, each achievement you got, you unlocked them. So it wasn't pay to get the loot boxes, it was play to get the loot boxes.
Yeah, but they're still there though.
Yeah, they're still there. You can still buy them.
I remember, oh goodness, what was it? What game was it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was Battlefield 1. It was Battlefield 1 because when the game launched, the loot, the supply crates or whatever the hell they're called,
the battle crates.
Yeah, the battle crates. You couldn't buy them. And the release, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, so it's not microtransactions," except everyone could tell they were definitely set up to be microtransactions, and then lo and behold, they became microtransactions.
I don't see the point of them though. You get skins for your guns. Okay, I want a new gun.
Well, I agree with you, but obviously, I mean, when you have like Counter-Strike skins going for hundreds of, maybe even thousands of dollars, obviously it matters to some people.
It matters to some people. Personally, I'd rather have a new gun.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Actually, most of the time, I actually prefer the base gun skin. I like my guns to look like normal guns. Like I don't need them splashed with dragons and orange shit and whatever. At least as far as Counter-Strike.
Can you basically Call of Duty what it is today? Just straight up colorful guns.
Oh god, Call of Duty before World War II. I mean, the last one, Advanced Warfare. I mean, you had guys like dressed in like pink, jetpacking around like a skateboard stadium. You know, like a turn. What is this?
Looks like they took Splatoon in Call of Duty and threw it at one disc.
Yeah, and it's like, can we stop like rating this game's M, because they're not rated M. They don't deserve to be.
No.
It's just blood and such. I don't even think that's good enough to be a rated M.
Nowadays, like, I mean, you could rate it T. I mean, I've seen games that are rated T that have blood in them. Although then again, I guess you'd have to ask for the MSRP to be to be reasonable, which they're not in my opinion. But
some new games that seem to have fallen. Well, one just actually hit me about old games. I mean, we have Crash Bandicoot that just came back out. And
I know nothing about it. There's some memes.
Oh my god! Okay, I played this first three. I was a very young kid when I had a PlayStation 1. I love them games. I was happy to be beating remastered. The remaster was actually good, but supposedly for me, I still put forward the classic because it's just. I guess it's just because I just had more fun with them. I had more experience. Then plus the new ones, they feel a bit odd.
I mean, I guess because look at the style of game that Crash Bandicoot is. It's basically a platformer, and it has 4K graphics. So you don't really see platformers with super high-end graphics. So I mean, I can understand how it doesn't seem right.
Well, that I mean, just the way the gameplay feels. That's what I'm trying to explain. I don't mind the graphics. I mean, I don't mind the way that they make it look more modern. That's okay. That was expected.
Okay.
As expected.
Well, let's go to some games that have fallen flat.
I think. For Honor is one.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, kind of primarily because it was another one of those games. Actually, both, The Division and Wildlands to a certain extent of Ghost Recon, and For Honor, which are all Ubisoft games, have all done this because they are all, multiplayer focused, open world, except for Honor. But even then, For Honor was pretty much only like multiplayer with microtransactions and so on and so forth. I don't know. It's just I guess the only reason I think that they keep putting in the microtransactions because they unfortunately they make money.
Yeah. Someone does it. Someone always buys it.
And the thing is, it's like that's why at this point that's why I don't invest in those types of games anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't bother. And even if I buy the base game, I never buy microtransactions. But But even sometimes, like so I'll swear off games or I'll stop playing them if I feel that even though even like if I just can't keep up without buying the packs, then I just don't buy them at all. And it's unfortunately because it's going to be hard to do. You're basically going to have to tell people to not buy games or not pay for these games, which is something that's going to be very difficult to do because a lot of people, I think the majority of for example, Call of Duty, the majority of the Call of Duty audience, I think, is either kids who are underage, which again would be like, why even bother rating it M if your majority of your audience is kids anyway?
Yeah.
Or people who pick it up and get home from work, they play a couple of matches and then they go to sleep or whatever. And they're not really hardcore gamers per se.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to tell those. I mean, especially the kids, but just on just the average Joe, for example, who I just said, tell them to, hey, don't buy that game or don't spend money on that game. It's for the greater good. And it's like, well, fuck you. I just want to play a couple of games, whatever.
Yeah.
So then they finance it, and then kids, it's basically a bunch of parents. The kid says, hey, I want $10 to buy this thing online. The parent says, okay.
Yeah. Or even if it like they work for the money, they'll just buy it. It's like, yeah, let me buy a couple crates.
But it's become so ingrained, and it's so frustrating because you see, gaming companies making shortcuts and trying to nickel and dime. Oh, the new Destiny, for example, is a good example of that. Basically the stupid shit that they're continually doing in Destiny. So if you didn't know, so pretty much every modern multiplayer, like shooter or multiplayer game, has dedicated servers.
Yeah.
Because you need to have them.
Yeah.
The new Destiny does not. In addition, the new Destiny is only running at, I think, 32 frames per second.
Oh.
Yeah. When everybody else, like Battlefield and everything like that, is running at 60.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb, and you can tell they're just cutting corners. In addition to the fact they're doing the exact same thing they did last time, which is, they announced that there, these 2 big DLCs coming. Actually, you know what? Do I have it up here? 1 second. I have. Yeah, here it is. The original Destiny. So this thing, where the box comes with this, through the 2 expansions, they're doing that again.
Oh, God. That's why I never picked up the first one.
Yeah. And it's so, literally again. And then they're saying that, oh, well, we're not going to do it 60 frames per second. We're not going to have dedicated servers. And you're basically like, then why would I even buy this game? It's Destiny 1 and kind of copy paste, and you're going to sell me more DLC, and you're not even going to give me a well-functioning game.
Yeah. And I one game that didn't have paid DLC or anything that said it was going to have all this, and it backfired, was No Man's Sky, which is just now getting multiplayer.
If you can call it that.
If you call it, they're floating orbs.
I mean, No Man's Sky I find to be a little is different. They're kind of No Man's Sky is like the Icarus of the gaming industry, where they flew too high.
Oh, they flew over the sun.
I don't put them in the same category though of like say, of like Activision, who are actively trying to like squeeze their way into your wallet. No Man's Sky just bit off way more than they can chew. Sean Murray and that team bit off way more than they could chew. And that just ended up that way. Although I do say, with a lot of the updates and the newest one that came out, it's not bad. I actually, if I had the money, I'd even buy it right now because it's on sale on Steam. But I don't. Actually, I'm not even confident my computer can run it, so I'm just not even going to bother. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing about, because you're talking about studios. The studio that makes the newest NASCAR games, they are actually learning from their mistakes, because they basically got the NASCAR license and was like, we're dedicating ourselves to this game and we're building it from the ground up. But they made a few mistakes on the first game. One,
few mistakes.
A few. Just let me go over it. They have built this game from the ground up on the fucking Unity engine.
Okay.
That's, well, I mean, you have NASCAR against all these other racing games and on the Union Engine. That's just sad. But they didn't put split screen in the game, which racing game you typically like. That's a given. So
Not every racing game
But not-
need split screen.
But NASCAR is going to be on the end of like Madden games. Like they're more family oriented. Like I want to just race who as such and such on kind of like John was talking about the average Joe. Not the dedicated racing guys are going to go pick up NASCAR, but the average Joe who watches the race might pick up the game. But for this new one coming out, they're like, okay, we're trying to make the game better. So we've added all the different series of NASCAR, not just the head series. We have worked on our engine more, added split screen, and we're lowering the price of the game. So it's not going to be $60, it's $50. And also, when you buy the game, you get a $50 NASCAR ticket to any race within these like 8 tracks.
Wow.
So I mean, they're working.
Is Richmond on a is Richmond one of them?
No, it's not.
So it's not worth it then.
Well, it depends.
Unless you're willing to spend more money to travel.
Well, just look at it because they picked racetracks that's all across the country, not just because there's so many racetracks right here in a little ball because this is the South. They picked like Michigan, they picked a bunch of different ones to kind of expand their eyes, but they're working hard and they're trying, which I can't say a lot about some other places, and they don't have microtransactions. They have a few DLC packs, but really no microtransactions.
There's nothing wrong with the deal. I mean, there's nothing wrong with DLC inherently. It's just the difference of mindset from back in the day is just that, gaming companies back in the day wanted to make a game, and then if it did well, they would make a DLC and then get more money from the DLC. They don't think that way anymore.
They think, let's make a game and then cut the game in half, and then...
It's not even that. It's let's release a framework from which we can sell DLC.
Yeah.
That's what Destiny has been, the last Destiny, and I get the impression this Destiny is going to be. Especially when you've announced that you're going to have 2, expansion packs, when your mind is already there, it's not here where it should be, which is the game currently.
Yeah, and the game hasn't even come out yet.
Exactly.
My thinking with DLC, you should not announce DLC until at least a month after the game has come out. Because that way you're focused on the game itself even after you've released it. Then you can start going, hey, we're going to have this DLC. One thing that's like the physical representation of DLC, all the Toys to Life games.
I've never played any. I don't know anything about them.
I've only owned one, which was the Disney one. But basically, every figure is a pack of DLC. You want to play as Rey in The Force Awakens? Well, you have to buy this $30 set. You want to play as Donald Duck? That's $15. And then but the game is already $60-$70 to start.
That's like the then the amiibos work that way?
Yeah, but the amiibos,
and then you have the Lego set too.
But the amiibos is only added feature, like little teeny things, like you put a Yoshi on this game, and it will give you.
But
this.
But it doesn't solve the same general problem is that if you want to play as that person, then you got to buy it.
In a way, yeah. The amiibos work.
So yes, that's.
I don't know how the amiibos work exactly, because it changes depending on the game. I think the developers of the game have make the decisions on what certain amiibo do. So
it's basically it's like it's like your Disney Infinity. it's basically like a big DLC that works differently depending on what game.
Yeah, and I probably have over $200 in the figures, and the game was shut down. So it's like,
Yeah, tough luck.
but I mean,
on that.
but the thing is, at least I got a figure. It's a good, cool looking statue. They were really well made. But it was still basically DLC, looking back at it.
The only thing I have to say about those things when you say the term of figure is ever since Disney is considered canceled, you can go to like Five and Below and buy a figure for like $5 of one of them, literally.
True.
So, I mean, yes, it's like it's pretty, but in terms of resale value, it's just, yeah, you kind of stuck with them.
I mean, I'm not going to sell them. I mean, there's certain ones I don't care about, but then there's others that I really like. So, but like I was saying, it's just basically DLC, and that's in a nutshell. And now that whole genre basically has died.
Of what, toys?
The toys to the game.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't think it really made a lot of money.
Well, it's kind of like gaming on YouTube. It got so saturated.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you had Amiibo, Lego, Disney.
No, it originally started with Skylanders. Then it was the Amiibos. Then Disney and Lego, and that was about it.
Well, the Marvel tried to do one on top of the Disney one. That had you buy like foot tall statues. There was one more, but I can't remember what it was. But anyways, that's beside the point. I mean, I don't know.
No, you're right. It's just the difference. I mean, just the core topic we're talking about here is just basically just the different mindsets of game developers, and it's just and it's become commonplace now where you buy a game and you expect to see microtransactions. You expect to not really get a full game.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that I think for a lot of players, it is starting to grate on them a little bit, and I think they're becoming less accepting of it. I mean, not to the point where it's going to stop like immediately.
Yeah. But it's slowly.
But it's slowly. I think it's slowly happening. Hopefully, in the next year or two, gaming. Yeah, I just hope it changes. I mean, that's the real reason. That's why a lot of older games, quote unquote, last. Just because they're full games.
Mm-hmm.
And when when you look at things, and it's sad when you see things like Ghost Recon or The Division or any of these new games, because in 5 years nobody's going to be able to play them, and you can't even if you still own it, you can't play it because there's
online.
There's nothing for you to play.
Mm-hmm.
And why would I invest money in that?
I mean, you're right about that, and it makes me it makes me think about even popular games now. I mean, Overwatch is completely online. 100%. You can't play it if you don't have internet. And it's like, okay, I know they don't plan on doing Overwatch 2 for a while, but when they do, what's going to happen?
I don't think there's going to be an Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I am not a huge fan of. Every time I hear a game when it's announced, it's like new with expansive multiplayer. I'm like, oh god. I don't know. One of the things, Battlefront, the new one, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it has a single player.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very worried about the single player because everyone's excited for it because the first one didn't have it, which there was no excuse for it not to have it originally. That was so stupid. And especially not to have all the eras. The new one does have all the eras, it seems. But I'm very worried about it because it could very easily be just multiplayer maps with the campaign on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I completely understand that. I had the same worry about it. I my thinking was there's gonna be cutscenes to show the person arriving at this map. You fight on the
And
map.
it's turned into basically a multiplayer game, but with AIs.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't know how they would even get around it at this point.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know.
I don't know. I just want. I feel like it's really too much to ask for well-crafted, just good games anymore. Like what? Like come on.
Yeah, I
Like,
understand.
I don't ask for much, and it was so. It makes it even worse. Like because the most recent, I guess you could say bastion for that kind of thing was Fallout 4, which ended up being, well, it didn't flop financially, but as far
it was a bit of a lackluster.
and so that disappointed me. I mean, The Witcher 3 was great, but I've played it so many times now that I don't want to play it anymore. There's so many slim pickings, and all these new games that are coming out are all like multiplayer focused and stuff. You know, you can play with your friend. Even the game that I'm looking forward to, Anthem, that BioWare is working on.
Mm-hmm.
I realize though that it is very much a multiplayer focused, play with your friends co-op game, and I'm just like,
And most of your friends got PlayStations.
Decent amount. I have a couple of friends that do have Xbox still, and I think the thing is, I don't know if they'll even get the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's.
And I mean,
I'm juggling between both systems over here.
I mean, I hope to be juggling between both systems soon, but
But I think you need a laptop first. I mean, not a laptop, better computer.
yeah, I'm shooting for a better computer before I get an Xbox. But yeah, basically that's. I mean, okay, single player games, for instance, the ones that are standing out are a lot. Are your Walking Dead, your Life is Strange, and all. They're good.
Like Skyrim.
Well, I'm Skyrim is in its
Skyrim
own.
is from 2011. I don't count it.
I don't count it as a new one. They can't just put. It's like the old kids movies that, like by 2005, they were just putting a new cover on a kids movie and throwing it out there.
I am so fucking. If Bethesda brings up Skyrim again, I'm gonna kill somebody. I am so done with it.
I'm done with Skyrim. I didn't even play it, and I'm done with it.
I just like for me, like this is like the remaster version of this part was enough. Yeah, we got all the DLC contents. We got mods. That's enough. That's all we need.
It's done.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
Well,
I'm happy.
Well,
Let's go on.
Like I was
Let it die
saying,
now.
the single player games that are story driven and all, now are basically kind of one time playthroughs.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like I mean, with everything, it seems like we're currently living in a time of extremes where it's like you're either having a full multiplayer only co-op experience or a very linear story driven, like you said, kind of one time play, and it's like to be a middle ground there, and there isn't anymore.
There's no middle.
You know,
ground. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, just thinking about it, it's like it used to be. It was standard to buy a game. You had a campaign that was good, and then there was also a multiplayer.
Yep.
That was just kind of how it was. Nowadays, you don't. There is either a campaign or it is multiplayer. There's like no in between anymore.
No.
And it's just so weird and so odd.
I mean, just like I was saying about Life is Strange, I loved the game. But I played it that one time, all the way through, and I don't plan on going through it again. I'm going to get the new one, play it one time, I'm probably not going to go through it again.
And it's strange because the games that still do what I just described, like for example, Grand Theft Auto, has a campaign, like a pretty popular one at that.
Yeah,
Everyone
and it has amazing online.
And it has an amazing online. It's like you can still do both, and they do well.
You just can't release it every year. That's the thing. That's what everyone's doing now. They take the game, they polish it a little bit, maybe add one feature, release it again as a new game.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Yeah, well, they need to have a worthwhile sequel, and it's just, I don't know. It seems like we're asking for a lot, but it's basically just to go back to,
the way it was.
Yeah, have a campaign, have a multiplayer, and give it a couple of years before you release a sequel, if you even need to at all.
Yeah. I mean, like we said about like we mentioned, The Last of Us as a great story-driven game. They've waited. I mean, still don't even know when the sequel's coming out, but they only just got the sequel announced. Like they didn't yeah, we're bringing out a new one. Like next year, they waited a long ass time, almost 10 years.
Okay, since you kind of bringing up like, oh, to make the next game a couple years later, let's take a look at Final Fantasy 15.
Okay,
I'm looking at
I
it.
don't play Final Fantasy.
I don't either. You have to explain it because I don't know.
So originally it was announced as Final Fantasy 13 Versus when they kind of showcased the Final Fantasy 13 way back in the early PS3 era.
Mm-hmm.
And just last year, I mean, they finally released it, but after been doing the whole 10+ year period, it was not it's still a good game, but it was not as. But there's just so much that happened during that 10-year period that when they first announced it and showed it to what it was truly was, that you kind of tell that they kind of they were doing so much changes during those 10 years that it felt to me it's just okay, I get it. It's good to have games though. You want to take your time,
but don't take too long.
Well,
just don't take too long because you end up doing a lot of changes. There's probably a new team because that's what happened to Final Fantasy 15. The original maker was the original director, whatever, I forgot his name was. Square Enix was getting tired of him taking his sweet time, so they put someone different to rush it up, which kind of got that bit of a different.
That's a difference. There's a difference between taking your time to develop a well-crafted game and being stuck in development hell.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 and games like Duke Nukem Forever, they were stuck in development hell.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Kingdom Hearts 3 is in the same spot as Final Fantasy. But that is but here's the thing, that's a popular game and a lot of people was hoping to do good, but look what happened to 15.
It's extremely rare for a game like last year's Doom, for example. This was also stuck in development hell for a year. It's very rare, though, that it actually comes out good.
Doom was great.
Yeah, it was. It's just, and there's Aliens, Colonial Marines is another example. But yeah, there's taking your time and then being stuck in development hell. There's different. It's much different. At that point, I almost feel when you have a game that you haven't made a sequel to in 10 years, at that point, I just say drop it. In my opinion,
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and Kingdom Hearts, and quite frankly, I mean, okay, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, so from an outsider perspective, I think when you had a big gap like that, it's probably you should probably just stop, especially when your game is continually titled Final Fantasy and it's still going.
But,
yeah, when's the final one?
Well, the reason it was called the first one was called Final Fantasy because I think from what I understand, whoever was developing the game thought it was actually going to be the last, their last kind of thing that they ever did. So they called it Final Fantasy, and then lo and behold,
we got fucking 14 more. Technically 14.
Yeah, and at that point,
main Final Fantasy. We're not counting the sequels, the spin-off, and the other West stuff. We kind of been torn around.
I mean, we can also say that about Kingdom Hearts. Because it's
yes, there was a lot of sequels. There's a film that gap between 2 and 3. 3's announced, but then it's oh, by the way, to order to play, I fully understand 3, you have to play all these spin-offs and such that has a main story connection.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I play all of them, so it's oh, that's I'm already up to date. That is nothing new to me. But for someone like Yoke's, well, you don't play all of them. It's oh,
I played 1 and 2. That should all I need to play to get to 3.
Yes, exactly. That's all you need to know. But as I say, they tore in the sequels, not the sequels, but the spin-offs, and they managed to how it's connected to the main storyline. So it's oh, well then. well, I'm buying the remakes because that's the only way if we be up to date. Which kind of fall into the topic you guys were talking about how games were like, it's gonna be made just to make more money.
Yeah, and my thinking with, like John was saying, that some games might be dropped. I was honestly thinking Kingdom Hearts 3 should have been dropped. Because it's like Kingdom Hearts' main focus was basically old Disney movies. Bringing the characters into the old Disney movies. And yes, they had some 90s ones in, but that was about 10 years old. The movies weren't even 10 years old when the second Kingdom Hearts were made. And now the two Kingdom Hearts worlds they've really shown off has been, well, three. There's three. Tangled, which was 2010. Baymax, Big Hero
No,
6.
no, no. So you skipped it. Mountain Olympics, Hercules.
Oh, Hercules? Well, I mean, Hercules been out forever. And Hercules has had a
But
world...
you only say that they only showcase like 3 war.
Well, of the new ones. Hercules has been in every Kingdom Hearts game.
But I'm just saying, I'm just kind of funny you say games they showcased it, not games that not the newest movies, just worlds in general.
Well, that's what I meant. The world... Hercules, everyone's knows it's going to be in there. It's been in all of them. But, Big Hero 6, Tangled, and Toy Story. Toy Story 3 by chance, because they were in Andy's room. So...
no, it's probably going to be like 2 or 1.
Okay, then we back even farther. And it's like, Disney has changed a lot since then. They've gotten superheroes, they've gotten all this stuff that's part of the Disney franchise now. It's Tangled, really. Baymax 6 stands out. Baymax 6. Big Hero 6 stands out a lot more than Tangled. But those movies aren't like the heavy hitters that Disney has, like Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid was when the original Kingdom Hearts were coming out. I don't know. I don't know what to feel. Like, I'm gonna play Kingdom Hearts 3, but at the same time, it's like, I don't care in a way. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. I feel like we've rambled a lot.
You rambled about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. I'm just like, okay, I don't know.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.
We really did not talk about the past that much, did we?
Not really. No, we didn't.
No. But that's what all of our nights tend to be. We start off with a plan, and then it just goes to shit. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And like always, I will see you in the next one. Later.